Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of The Real Podcasters, the show where we like to talk all things movies, TV shows, video games, and a bunch of other things in no particular order. My name's Reagan, as ever, and I'm joined once again by my deformed, underverse-ridden co-host.
You bastard.
It's Dan.
Can't even have a drink.
You know, I thought after 120 episodes, you would learn to stop drinking as soon as I start to introduce you, just in case I make you choke to death.
Yeah, nearly did that time.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Absolute colossal ball of meep snot.
That sounds like a fun time. It really must be said.
Yeah.
We've said on a couple of episodes previously, we've said on a couple of episodes previously that I didn't think we were going to cover Doctor Who Season 2. Not to say it was a terrible series by any means of the imagination. We are clearly talking about it, so we've clearly got things to say. And that's because Russell decided to, pull the rug from under the entirety of the population with that final episode. And basically ordering Dan to finish the damn thing off because we're going to have to talk about it. So that's what we're going to do. Obviously, we haven't covered our thoughts on Season 1. I have said we'll do it very, very briefly because I have not gone back to it. Even though it is by no means the worst season of Who, like it just isn't, it's too well made. But on the whole, just a bit of a disappointing mess, and the finale just really annoyed me. I can't even remember your thoughts because we did technically record
an
episode for it, but we didn't actually put it out.
Yeah, so as you say, it's absolutely not the worst season of Who. That was made by some writer that we never ever need to talk about ever again.
It's ironic because we're technically going to.
I hope he's like for the rest of time just constantly stubbing his toe on like a dresser drawer for the end of time.
I was going to go with Lego, to be honest, just to be even
harsher. That's even better, yeah. Like, send him to, like, a universe where, like, the planet is just made of Lego and he's just constantly stepping on it for all of time.
It's like, ow, ow, ow,
yeah.
Ow. So, like, instead of vampires with sand, it's Chris Chibnall with Lego.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah, okay, so thoughts on it. So when this came out, well, first episode, 25th of December 2023. The Church of Ruby Road hated it because I don't like musicals.
No, you don't like musicals.
No. There was like, what is this? And then I thought, okay, well, maybe he's done better. No, Russell T Davies just went incredibly childish with Space Babies and decided to make a alien monster from snot. The bogey monster, quite literally. The bogey monster, fine, completely fine. The Devil's Chord, quite like it. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Boom was a great episode. 73 Yards was also a great episode. Dot and Bubble was not a great episode. Rogue was also a okay episode.
Yeah.
The Legend of Ruby Sunday was an okay episode.
Yeah.
And Empire of Death was not an okay episode. It was far from an okay episode.
Yeah, I'm trying to think which
a very
middling between episode
season.
1 and episode 2 to be. Yeah, kind of.
I think if you're gonna choose like 2 episodes out of this 8 episode long series, then I'd probably have to say Boom and 73 Yards.
I would say exactly the same thing. Because everything else was kind of either mediocre to really not good.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the Church on Ruby Road for what it was. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Now let's get on to Season 2. Now...
Yes.
There's going to be more to say on the finale. That's just naturally going to be the case. So we'll get into that in a bit. And obviously, spoilers. Even though I have said we'll do general thoughts, but come on, if you're watching this or listening to this, you have watched it. That's just a fact of life. So, yeah, if you haven't, don't watch this. If you've somehow staved off the internet and don't know what's been going on in the past 48 hours, because we're recording this on the Monday, because we just needed an extra day to digest the thing that just happened.
Yes.
But yeah, spoilers from here on out. So I wasn't planning on covering season 2 because it wasn't doing a massive amount for me. Once again, like with the last series, I think there was 2 episodes that I think are extremely solid. That being episode 3 with the well, and episode 5, the story in the engine. I think those ones were the strongest ones of this series. Which is interesting, considering one of them I was terrified to see, which we'll get into in a bit. I found myself thinking that Ncuti and Virada Sethu, who of course came back after starring in Boom last year, much better chemistry, especially because Belinda is very much presented as the unwanted companion, or rather the one who just does not want to be there. That kind of becomes irrelevant by the end, but we'll get to that. Which is annoying because of the 2 characters that she plays, whether it's Belinda or Mundy from Boom, I would have preferred Mundy, only because I just want a companion that's not from 21st century Britain. I'm sick of it. Give us something else.
Go to a different time period, please, Russell.
Yes, exactly. I appreciated the more serial style for the story. In this case, with the Doctor struggling to bring Belinda back to Earth because the planet has been destroyed again.
Yeah, for
we
like
have technic.
God,
it was
God
reminding
only
me
knows
of
how many times in Doctor Who now this has happened.
Well,
a fair few times.
Yeah, the one that immediately came to mind was Series 5, with 26th of June 2010 being the day that the whole of creation just is completely wiped out. And that's like I think it's either the day of Amy and Rory's wedding or the day before. I can't quite remember.
Yeah,
but yeah, we've seen this before. And like I say, Belinda does start out quite interesting as someone who doesn't want to be on the TARDIS. And seeing that sort of evolve quite naturally, until once again another metaphorical rug is pulled out from under the actor's feet. And it's like, no, we're going to do something else.
it's not even pulled, it's just taken by force.
Yeah. In general, I have enjoyed season 2 way more than season 1, but I think most of my issues will stem from later things. But we'll get on to Dan's general thoughts, because you are general thoughts.
Well, hell of a lot better than season 1. That's absolutely saying something. Season 1 should have absolutely been what season 2 is in terms of actually bringing more good episodes out, because I
absolutely
have liked pretty much all the episodes. I think if I'm going to choose a highlight, it would probably be The Well.
Yes.
Because that one was just creepy as hell. It actually feels like they went back to early Doctor Who roots and actually tried to make a scary Doctor Who episode, and they really did.
Oh, yes.
I'd probably say that the second strongest is the story in the engine, because it's such a quirky idea. And even the robot revolution, and Lux was ridiculously quirky for a Doctor Who episode. It was mad. I can't really remember too much about the episode. I thought it was a bit but all the visuals and stuff, it was really wacky.
Yes.
On saying that, I do have a few problems, but we'll get into that later.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's just get straight into proper spoilers.
There we go.
Again, I mean, this is why I don't think we were going to probably talk about it unless the series finale was just kind of meh, which is what I was expecting. We didn't get that, so let's get into it. I'm being deliberately vague on whether or not I like it or not. I like doing that. I'm basically playing the long game this time, which is another Who reference with a certain companion whose face pops up again. Oh dear. Anyway, so what do we start with? We'll start with the Doctor and Belinda, because that's they're the focal point. As I say, I think as a pairing, I think they're stronger than with the Doctor and Ruby.
Chemistry is way better. I mean, in season 1, it was there's characters, but they don't really have a lot in common.
And I think as well, because they were acting like best friends, and we kept on getting told they were best friends, and you didn't really see that.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Doctor and Belinda, at no point is it suggested that they're best friends, because she doesn't want to be there. Like, she even calls him out at the end of episode 1 when he's scanned her DNA and then found that there's a match between her and Mundy from Boom, which I appreciate the fact that they actually acknowledge the fact that it's the same face. And even she's like, so you scanned me without your permission? Like, no, not a fan of that. I was like, good one, thank you, I like you now. Because it's a bit creepy, it must be said, even if it's purely accidentally. He's not trying to be creepy, but for any other human it's like, ooh, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not for me. And she does spend most of the season just, kind of going along with it, because what else is she going to do? She's just going to sit in the TARDIS for like 3 minutes every single time they land. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with like they can't actually go back to the 24th of May 2025, and every week I just kept on thinking, just go back to the 23rd and just hide her for a day. They're done. But no,
go back to the 23rd.
Yeah, like, it's a time travel show. I mean, I know there's going to be other logistical things, but and so I appreciated the growth that she goes through, even by the time of the Interstellar Song Contest. And and even when she's actively saying, like, when she thinks that the Doctor's dead because he's floating around in frozen space, she's like, oh, I didn't actually get a chance to tell him he's wonderful. And I did kind of buy that. I thought that was quite good.
Yeah.
So in general, I did appreciate the character, even by the season finale, she does absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
it's just locked in a box.
Just there.
Yeah, and
she's
not
just
even
in a little soundproof box.
She's literally just in like a discount version of the Pandorica, and I wouldn't mind seeing that back again. It was a cracking design.
It's like Temu Pandora box.
Yeah, that's quite accurate, actually.
Which is the case for like a few unit's answer to the Pandorica's box.
That's exactly what it is.
Just a bunch of like egg carton shells for soundproofing.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, especially because they've done a really good job. Because I mean, they finally get her back to Earth, so there should be a bit of urgency, but there's just none. And then obviously, she's essentially retconned into being a mother, which I don't like. Like, it's a weird one. It's just like I mean, I like how companions go from one to the other from the start to the end. She might as well be a completely different character, because by all accounts she is.
I think they were just walking on
like that.
very, very thin ice with that whole plot device thing. I thought it was a bit like, Jesus, you're really going this way?
And I think as well, considering this, you can sort of see what they're doing with the Wish World scenario, where it's a very stereotypical, almost 1950s-esque, so she's the housewife.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And then ends as that anyway. It's like, no, that's not right. And especially for Russell, I'm surprised at that, because he's usually quite good at calling this sort of thing out, and then just sort of devolves into that. I was like, no, I don't like that at all. I mean, there is extra things to say. I'll say that a little bit later on about why they might have gone this way, but we'll get to that. But yeah, as a character, Belinda just has nothing to do by the end.
Yeah, she's just there, which seems like such a waste, because you've got all this build-up throughout every episode, and then that's sort of what you're ending with.
Yes, exactly.
It kind of feels like a bit of a punch in the gut, not gonna lie.
I mean, I will say at least she gets like a vaguely happy ending and kind of gets to leave on her own terms.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they didn't do like a proper Doctor Who cliche ending where it's like a life or death situation and they take it upon themselves to save the Doctor or whatever.
Yeah, it's really not for me. And like I say, with the whole idea of like, oh, we can't get back to Earth because the Earth has been destroyed, I did quite like the fact that the one who gets to give the best explanation to what happened to Earth is just a hologram of Graham Norton. I thought that was actually quite good.
Yeah,
Especially
I chuckled at that ridiculously. I thought, is that Graham? No, oh god, it is.
You actually brought back Graham Norton.
So Graham, we've got a part in this television show. I need you to play a hologram
twice. I can remember. I mean, I can't remember the first one because I remember when watching the behind the scenes bit of it, and he spoke about the very first episode that went out, and there was a microphone issue, so you could hear him talking during part of Rose back in 2005. But the one that I remember is there was like an animated ident at the end of The Time of Angels in Series 5 when the Doctor's doing his speech with the gun, and there's just a little animated Graham Norton that pops up going across the screen leading into the Graham Norton show, and you're like, what the hell is this? It's a shame they didn't keep it on the DVD release, because I'd totally keep it. It's terrible, but it would just be really funny.
God, yeah, that would bring a highlight to my day, it really would.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, as a mystery, yeah, you are kind of like, you are keen to see, okay, what's actually happened to Earth beyond the fact it's just blown up and you've got a London taxi, the Eiffel Tower, and I think Big Ben all in one little area. I was like, I don't think that's how explosions work. That's very specific.
I mean, I'm at least really glad that they didn't just go with like how a lot of previous Doctor Who episodes happen, where there's like a penultimate fight between like the Doctor's like most infamous enemies like Daleks and Cybermen. Like that, there isn't one sighting of this, and I'm so glad. It's like, my God, people have actually realised there are other villains in the Doctor Who universe besides Daleks and Cybermen.
Well, that's a good sort of segue into the other bits. So, the thing that was set up in the church on Ruby Road was the mysterious identity of Mrs. Flood that no one cared about.
No.
Like, I certainly didn't. I just, when she looks to the camera, it's like, oh, have you never seen a TARDIS before? I honestly thought she's just someone who'd just seen the TARDIS before. That's it.
She's just a conspiracy nut.
Yeah. So I wasn't swept along with the mystery because I just didn't care. And then you're doing the same thing you did last year, where you've got, instead of Susan Twist popping up every single week, it's now Mrs. Flood every single week. So now we know exactly who she is, and it's revealed very nonchalantly to just essentially strangers in a post-credits scene of the Interstellar Song Contest that she is the Rani. Now the BBC have the rights back to that character, so now they can use it.
Right, I ain't gonna lie here. When it got to sort of episode 6, 7, and 8, I had to have like a Doctor Who encyclopedia on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because all this Rani stuff I had absolutely no knowledge of.
Last thing, she's only appeared like a couple of times. Like,
yeah,
she's
and
not...
like from a Colin Baker episode, from what I saw, so like years and years ago, and from what I understood, she's basically just the Master, but a science whiz master.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, that's what the
kind
of character.
Yeah, it's the kind of character that works better with the performance. That being with Kate O'Mara, the late Kate O'Mara. She apparently did a really, really solid job.
Mm-hmm.
But this character, as far as I'm aware, unlike the rumor with the Dalek sort of treaty where you have to have them appear once a year, which is clearly rubbish now. We know that.
Definitely.
As far as I know, they didn't have access to the character until very recently, which is why they only ever appeared once again, and it was in Big Finish.
Right.
I believe that's the reason why. I could be wrong. But I think as soon as the marketing for this season came out and the logo is tinted red, I think even I immediately went, yeah, it's the Rani. Because she wears red. It's very easy. Because when you go back
I didn't clock on, because again, like, I had no idea what this Rani was, and then I looked into it, and it was frustrating because I was having to like pause an episode to like find out more, because if I just sat and watched the episode, I'd be like, okay, who's this?
That's the thing.
Who's it? Like, if you were sat next to me, I would have been like, Reagan, who's this?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
It immediately brought me back to the end of Series 3 with Utopia, where they bring back the Master, but they also spend the time to actually develop that character, and you understand them. You don't have to do the homework for that. So with the Rani, you have to do the homework.
Yeah,
Again, this is now 2 seasons in a row.
it
I
annoyed
know who
me
it is
quite a bit,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
Because at
it's
least
like
with
I know
like the
who it is
master
because
stuff,
of yeah.
I mean, I'd obviously seen like a few sort of old classic episodes with the Master, so I had a very niche sort of like information on the Master, so I knew who the character was.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it got to Series 3, I was like, okay, this is the Master, I understand. And yeah, the way that it's portrayed, you actually do understand without having to do your homework. This just feels like, so here's the Rani. Yeah, just go look on Wikipedia or the wiki, the Who wiki or something.
Oh yeah, the TARDIS wiki. Yeah.
Yeah, the TARDIS wiki. And honestly, like, it was so frustrating because I had to just sit, and every time, like, the Rani came on screen, I had to pause and then look into it more. I'm like, who is this? What is going on?
Because I mean, especially because unlike with the Master reveal at the end of Series 3, at least it's, you know, technically to a one-off character who dies pretty much immediately, and then the Doctor actually sees them. With this, the Doctor doesn't even really meet the Rani until the very end of the penultimate episode of the season.
Yeah.
And it's like, we've had no time because he doesn't remember anything because it's a fake reality.
It's like also, that bloody, you know, as soon as I saw that episode, it just brought me back to Series 3, where David Tennant is in this, like, own world. I can't remember the bloody episode. The Family of Blood. That's the episode where, like, they're in, like, their own reality, and the Doctor isn't the Doctor. He's a character called John Smith. As soon as Ncuti Gatwa said that, I thought, oh, for God's sake, here we go again.
Well, I think there was I mean, there was like shades of Utopia. There was shades of the Family of Blood two-parter.
Yeah.
There's shades of Missy with Archie Panjabi's portrayal of the Rani.
Oh God, yeah.
Bear in mind, she does the best she can do with the material that she's given, but she feels like a Timu version of Missy. I was going to say discount, but Timu's probably quite fair.
Yeah. I mean, nothing compares to Missy's wittiness. I don't think it will
it's the
ever
kind of
get
thing
that.
Like, it's like I didn't realize how much I appreciated Missy until after she wins. It's like, oh no, actually, this might be my favourite version.
Oh, will
I
you
didn't
stop
think I'd ever say
wittering on?
Yes, exactly. So, and then obviously we get the bloody bi-generation thing again. I was like, I don't like this. This is just stupid.
It just feels like, well, we did it in a special, so now we can do it in the finale.
Well, because
I hope this isn't going to be a recurring thing, because it's just going to end up pissing me off.
It doesn't sound like us, because I think there was supposed to be some sort of explanation in the finale, but I missed it. Because the problem is, actually, when I was watching the finale, because I did see both parts on the big screen, which, to be honest, as an experience, was exceptional. There was tons of people in it, actually. I thought, this is like the definitive way to watch Who. Especially these last two, because visually they're absolutely... I can't fault the visuals, especially the last one. Absolutely excellent. But the audio, bear in mind, this is in like the Odeon, and the audio was not very good. Like, it was a bit tinny in places, so I missed bits and bobs. So I think I probably missed the reasoning for why they've done bi-generation twice, but hey ho, whatever. But yes, I mean, the Rani coming back, that didn't shock me, but then immediately is brought in just to bring back another character, in this case, Omega. Which, I'll be honest, when they said his name, I was audibly shocked. I thought, okay, this is going to go either one way or the other. You're either going to bring back the original helmet.
They really go away, or like, they really do have a way.
2 for 2. Yeah, 2 for 2 on bringing back a legacy character via giant CGI monstrosity.
Giant like, CGI skeleton the size of a skyscraper.
Yeah, who's introduced and vanquished in 30 seconds. I was like, great. Damn you, Russell. Like, that was literally, that really annoyed me.
This is something that I've noticed with a lot of, like, finale stuff, and this is something that I think has stemmed from the finale of season 1. For somebody who is such an intimidating foe, they're so easily defeated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, Omega breaks out of his tomb, pretty much gets
But
free.
not even really. He
just
doesn't even
sort of,
make
like,
it out the door.
Yeah, he doesn't even make it out the door, and Ncuti picks up a laser thingy, and that's it, sorted. It's like, wow, you've bantered on about, like, you know, this like, sinful Time Lord. Like, the ultimate, like, this guy's bad news, and yet like it's so easily defeated. I mean, it's like with Sutek. Like it turns out the way you do that is you just put him on a leash and drag him through. You drag him through the universe, and it's all sorted.
Well, I mean, like, there was none of that this time.
No, thank God.
Though it's funny that technically, when it comes to characters exiting a door and then getting gunned down, the Seventh Doctor made it further than with Omega. I mean, granted, the Seventh Doctor was still killed, but at least he actually shut the door when he left. Like, right, here we go. Sutek just opened the door and was like, hello? Oh no, okay, goodbye. Bye. I was like, come on. But I think as well, because I was saying this to a mate of mine, it's like, it could have been anyone. And it's more annoying that it's Omega, because, first of all, if people are wondering, like, can you actually make that original design work? Yes. I've seen fan art of his armor looking very Roman Centurion. I'm like, yeah, you can make that look badass. Mm-hmm. Don't do the version from Arc of Infinity. We don't need Peter Davison back, frankly. He's already come back a couple of years ago. So it can work, but I think as well, it robs the Rani as well of any urgency, because she's just there to bring back the Time Lords again, and then is eaten.
Not gonna lie, I did chuckle, but it just felt like such a freaking waste.
Yeah, and then Mrs. Flood is the one that survives and then buggers off, and I was like, really?
Oh no, she just does what like the cowardly Daleks do. She just like temporal shifts somewhere.
Well, to be honest, I legitimately thought, especially because she's borderline abused by the other Rani, I thought she was actually gonna fight back against her. No, there's none of that.
So it's like, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, there's like little things you could have done better, and you just didn't even bloody do them.
Yeah.
The character I'm actually the most curious on with you is actually with Conrad, because, well, this thing, like episode 4, I wasn't a big fan of. I did take personal offense to the villain being a podcaster, to be completely honest. It's like Scream 6 with like talking smack about Letterboxd. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird one, right? Because I totally see what they were doing with it, but I just saw like, oh, like Ruby's finally happy. And then you go and do that.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I knew immediately he was going to be a scumbag.
Oh, I mean, totally.
Even him as a baby in 2007, which is classified as history now.
The fact that he's like a little bloody, like, tinfoil hat stays on in the bedroom, conspiracy nut.
We could have got
it's just like,
Joaquin
have
Phoenix
you
to do
literally not watched the TV and all these times aliens have posed a threat? I mean, I don't know how old the guy is, but surely, like, he was old enough to see the bloody Slitheen and Downton Street.
See, this is the thing, we're trying to do, like, a conspiracy thing against Eunice. You can't do it now because too much time has been spent on Earth with aliens. Like, if this was done in Series 1, which it technically, I think, was in places, that would be fine, but not in Season 2/Series 15? I've actually forgotten what series it's actually supposed to be beyond Season 2.
I mean, it's kind of, well... It says here Series 15.
Great. There we go.
So not Season 2, Series 15.
Yeah, but Conrad as a character I didn't like, but I have rewatched that final confrontation between the Doctor and Conrad at the end of episode 4. Because I think that's good. Great.
Oh, yeah, I thought powerful.
Yeah, and I think as soon as he said, I don't accept your reality, I was like, right. He's in the finale, because we know the name of the finales now, so we know it's going to be him. And I thought, that is such a stupid idea.
And as soon as you see Mrs. Flood just jingle those little keys, you know it's all going to unfold.
Yeah, it's like...
Wasn't expecting the Pirates of the Caribbean bloody...
Oh shit, it is actually that. It's better, frankly.
Here, boy! Here, Conrad.
Oh, it'd be really funny if the dog in Pirates of the Caribbean is actually called Conrad. But it's awkward because there's that moment in the finale when even Ruby acknowledges that while he has made like a really crappy reality, he's at least tried to make people happy because he's...
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, you kind of work. And like, she's not as unlikable as Lindy was in season 1 with Dot and Bubble, where even before she's revealed to be an absolute monster of a creature, she's already annoying as hell. So I already didn't care. with Conrad, it's just his face that just immediately looked annoying. I was like, nah, he's evil. He just has to be.
See, I did find him annoying, but I felt that it sort of redeemed itself because, I mean, yeah, the stuff with Ruby confronting him about, you've made this reality because your reality was so crap, essentially, like abusive parents and stuff like that. You wanted a happy reality, so you made this reality where people have families and are loved.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt a bit like, oh, wow, this is hard hitting.
I mean, the problem is, if you want to do like alternate realities, I think Doctor Who did it better with Turn Left. Frankly, I say better because it's awful. It's an awful world to live in, but it's as like a what if scenario. I prefer that.
It definitely gives a what if vibe.
Yeah, especially when
I mean, it was an absolute mind wobble. Like I just could not wrap my head around that episode like one bit until like I got into the last episode, and I thought, okay, this is starting to make a bit more sense now. My brain, it doesn't hurt as much.
Ever so slightly, yeah.
Yeah, ever so slightly.
Now, obviously, as we get into the actual final episode, what did you think of Anita? Because I don't think you watched Joy to the World, did you? You still haven't watched it.
I did, but I could not tell you a thing about it other than like the hotel. The time hotel thing, that is literally all I took from that episode, and so
that's fair.
Obviously, when that came back into play in the reality war, I was like, okay, I remember that.
I smiled like a little child when Anita popped up. I was like, because she was the best, like that 10-minute sequence in that special, just the Doctor and Anita just hanging out for a year, I thought was so beautiful. And then as soon as she got, like everyone cheered. It was like a very American audience for this. Like everyone cheered when they saw. It's like, oh, an adult, actually an adult. Because I was sat there thinking, because I remembered back to an interview that Stephen Moffat gave during the promotion for Joy to the World, and he said the only script he'd read for season 2 was the finale, and it would make sense when it airs. I thought, okay, there's something to do with him, surely.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting Anita, but I thought out of everything out of that special, that's the one thing I wanted them to bring back, because I thought Anita was such a good character. And again, it's like the Doctor and Ruby are suddenly the bottom of the barrel when it comes to chemistry, because the Doctor and Anita are just adorable together, even for just 10 minutes. And you see her looking in on the Doctor's life, so you get a few sections of
I thought that
previous
was
episodes.
really cool, actually.
It does mean actually. Oh yeah, but even the bit with the third Doctor being tied to the table and there's a dog that walks past. that is. They actually got a Dalek for the set. I was like, this is the only time this has been used in this era now, bar the Children of Need thing like 2 years ago. I thought he hasn't actually faced a Dalek.
Yeah. It is such a cool little cutaway though, because like, she obviously mentioned that, on my days off I go looking for you, and then it cuts like her just going through loads of different corridors, just going into his past. Yeah, various various Doctors, various scenarios.
Yeah, I thought that's actually really sweet.
Yeah.
And it's once she gets to him dancing with Rogue, because it is suggested that she does have a bit of a thing for him because it's Ncuti Gatwa who doesn't. It's the same with Henry Cavill. It's exactly the same logic. It's a bit of a time window. And at that point, she's clearly quite upset, but she just moves on. I thought, good, thank you. You're not hung up on him. You haven't just saved him, and then now you're going to beat the ever-loving crap out of him.
She's not doing a Martha Jones.
She's not doing a Martha Jones, which is ironic for having another character who is a nurse as a companion and doesn't want to be on the TARDIS. Or rather, does want to be on the TARDIS, or wants to be on the Doctor. Anyway. Not wrong, are you?
Nah.
So, when I was talking to my partner after we went to go and see this, one of the things I said was that the pacing was really weird with the actual final episode. And once I've looked into this a bit more, and there seems to be a reason for it. So, I commented on the fact that everything basically wraps up about 30 to 35 minutes in, and the episode's about 70 minutes long.
And then it has like another 24 odd minutes left, and you kind of wonder what the hell's going on, like after a very dramatic turn at the unit base. I'm quite astonished the fact that the unit base is actually a transformer. I mean, whew, God.
I'm not complaining.
What?
I'm not complaining.
What was that about?
It was badass, is what it was. I was like, finally, an actual force. Like, yes, I'm happy with this.
Just honestly was not expecting it. Like all these weird like bone monsters just casually making their way towards it, and then the unit base just turns into a transformer. Oh right, we're going there. Okay. At least it's not like some little bunker anymore. They've gone places.
Well, I'd seen in the promo pictures that you've got Kate Stewart with like a giant like wheel, and it looked like the wheel of a ship. So I honestly thought it was going to fly. I thought, nah. At that point, I might have been like, Russell, tone it down. Drop it down.
It was going to do Voyage of the Damned all over again. It's just a giant unit, giant unit ship,
an absolute unit. Funnily
enough.
Okay, so for the last few months, there was rumours circulating about this season, because this is what happens pretty much with every season past Capaldi, where there's some publications that decide to run the idea that, the Doctor's going to regenerate at the end of this season. It's been doing that every single season, and it's usually the Sun that do it, so we throw them away because they talk nonsense. The rumours specifically were that there were reshoots going on for the end of season 2, and that was in February, because the problem we've had with this season, and we said this behind the scenes for why we might or might not cover season 2, is this: if we got a green light for season 3 and the finale wasn't particularly interesting, we probably wouldn't have covered it.
Yeah.
But if there wasn't a green light, then we'd probably cover it for the sake of a bittersweet sort of ending for a couple of years. Yeah. Even now, as of us recording this, there's been no green light. So we still don't know when it's actually coming back, if and when, despite how it ends, which is ridiculous. So the rumours were going around that the reshoot's going on in February, which there are photos, well, I have seen the photos, was that it was to add in Ncuti Gatwa doing a regeneration.
Right.
So the reasoning for this, I think, is purely because of the fact that there was no green light for so long. Because let's face it, as an actor, he's still technically up and coming, but he's a big name now. Even like between him being cast and him first appearing, he'd already become a bit of a superstar. And the idea of keeping an actor around for Doctor Who like that is quite tough, especially because they'll want to do other things, and you have them hang around in the wings. Isn't there? Yeah, exactly. And because you don't know when you're actually going to be needed on set, what on earth do you do?
Yeah.
So, while the publications have claimed that Ncuti was always planning to stay for 2 seasons, I don't think that's accurate at all, based on the way that this episode ends, because I didn't clock the fact he was actually going to regenerate until the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, I must say, all the stuff regarding Ncuti, I mean, like, well, I'm not even going to call it news. I'm just going to call it propaganda, because that's all media is. But the amount of times that I saw numerous publications from numerous sources saying that, Doctor Who star axed, rumours leaving, blah, 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 that it's this, that, and the other, and you just think, for God's sake. So, but, I mean, I sort of, obviously I knew that he only wanted to do 2, but, this isn't really new, considering that Christopher Eccleston only did 2 as well, so I don't really know why people were...
Eccleston only did 1 season, but that was because he was angry.
Yeah, but yes, he was very angry.
Yeah, but I mean, Ncuti publicly said it was going to be 2 seasons in the Unleashed Doctor Who thing.
Yeah.
But based on his comments on Graham Norton last year, when he said he was hoping to get into the 3rd season early this year, and then hearing that there's no green light for season 3 until after this finishes, and you want yearly Doctor Who, and he also wants to do theatre, I legitimately think, and I think other people think this as well, is that he has essentially jumped ship, I should say.
Yes.
He's decided, you know what, I can't be bothered to wait any longer.
Yeah,
if you're not going to greenlight it yet, can you just wrap it now?
I'm sure you've seen this, but, viewings are well and truly down for Doctor Who.
Well, that's the thing with
there was a lot of, rumor that the show was going to be axed because but then obviously the stuff with Disney. I mean, there's a lot of factors of why the viewers are down. I mean, my personal opinion is that a lot of it became Americanized with the Disney merger. I don't want an Americanized thing of a Brit. Like, I think if you Americanize Doctor Who, you take all the British charm from it. Doctor Who has been British for freaking decades. We don't need an Americanized Doctor Who. So I really hope that they just sort of Disney Plus is just literally there to just put it out to other people. They're not there to go, well, actually, we want this in it as well.
It's funny, actually, that you reference that one, because I think me and we'd spoken about it after we got back, and we were saying, what is, the perfect Doctor Who? And I said, well, the one that understands exactly what it is and is not ashamed to be that.
Yes.
So I like it to be quirky and quintessentially British. I don't mind if there's a cardboard cutout behind the main characters, because it fits in with the charm. It's the same with, I even use this example, even though I've never finished it, Red Dwarf. When that started, that's very cheap sets. It feels just like a comedy version of Doctor Who.
It's like a lot of old comedies. I mean, you look at Only Fools and Horses, British.
Uh-huh.
You look at Fawlty Towers, British. It has its charm to it, and I think that some episodes really kind of dwell into that Americanized family thing, and I'm just oh god, you're really you're walking on eggshells here, guys. Jesus. I mean, as I say, this season hasn't been terrible. It realistically should have been what season 1 should have been, good, because season 1 was very up and down.
Well, going back to what stuff was reshot, the stuff with the Doctor and Belinda saying goodbye at a house was reshot, because that set was used for that. Because both actors were there, as was the little actor playing Little Poppy. Whereas it's annoying that she's really adorable, even if she's still a space baby. But at least there's no CGI mouth on it this time, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Such a weird sort of thing to do. So we know that was reshot. The bit that I'm not sure on, especially because the Doctor and Ruby don't get a goodbye, which feels
no, they don't actually.
Wrong.
Yeah, you've clicked on there. It's very just blunt.
So I feel like Millie Gibson was busy, I think, at the point that they needed that sort of footage, so they just sort of left us. The bit that I'm still trying to figure out on is my favourite thing in this entire episode. It's only 3 minutes long. You can probably guess which one it is. No? Okay. It's the return of Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor.
Oh yeah, that was a very unexpected cameo.
I audibly went, oh my god. And everyone else did. I thought, that is... Because at first I thought, nah, she's just like a backgroundy sort of thing. No, it's actually her. I thought, wow, you actually kept that shit quiet. Well done.
Oh yeah, I mean, totally caught me off guard, so yeah, well done for that.
And for 3 minutes, it's exactly what she was in 2
Different
episodes.
Decorated. I don't like it.
The thing is, I actually fully buy that she doesn't like it. Because her version of the TARDIS was tiny.
Is there ever going to be a Doctor where another Doctor is like, you know what it is? You've done a really good job, actually. I really like what you've done with the place.
13, I think, technically did that when she walked onto her TARDIS. But we don't talk about that because we don't like that TARDIS. It's boring. It's crystalline rubbish. But those 3 minutes with her, I was like, oh my god, you have just become the Doctor like that. And I was like, this reaffirms all you need is a decent writer. We rag on Russell, honestly. For the most part, his characterization for a Doctor is really solid. And he nailed 13 for 3 minutes. I was like...
Yeah, it's just a shame that,
well done.
The other writer couldn't nail her for one frickin' episode.
No. Already every episode.
Which is just really sad, actually.
Yeah. But honestly, that 3 minutes, I was like, that was spectacular. It's cute.
It was beautiful.
But what I did mean, because I didn't click onto the fact that he was assuming he was going to regenerate, I legitimately thought, right, because I've said before that Doctor Who needs to evolve. It really does. So I thought, when she appeared, because I didn't quite understand what was going on, all I knew was that he was going off to find Poppy. He was going to find her somewhere in reality or bring her into reality. I legitimately thought, and I would absolutely love this as an idea, is that season 3, if they didn't have the Disney budget, it was going to be, once again, very serial, smaller scale, and it's just a road trip across the universe with 15 and 13 looking for Poppy. I thought, oh my god, I'd absolutely love to see that.
It kind of sounds like if that idea ever materialized, I don't think it would be TV. I think they would have done like a Big Finish kind of thing with that idea.
Potentially, yeah. And because I think especially because Russell has said before he doesn't like doing standard multi-doctor stuff. Well, it's clear that that's actually what he meant. Because the way that he's done it, I mean, across this, even just this series, you bring back Joe Martin as well for like a little bit as the Fugitive Doctor. That was already spoiled because I was on holiday, so I didn't watch it for 5 days. I was like, yeah. So I already knew she was coming back, but I thought, oh man, that's actually really nice. Because I think, even when we spoke about the Chibbers era, I think one of the finer points was Joe Martin in her brief appearances
Absolutely.
just was the Doctor. And I was like, thank you for that. That's nice. And then bringing 13 back, and actually, I think it's both quite funny, badly funny, and also quite bittersweet, is when 15 tells 13, I love you. Because, and she's like, I don't usually say that. I best tell Yaz. I thought, oh my god.
Ah, yes.
But then, all of a sudden, this is just Russell really retconning bits of 13 to make her better. In that he explicitly states to 13, like, oh no, you will never say that. But she knows. I thought, you've made the power of the Doctor 2% better because there was nothing done with the whole romantic thing there at all. I was like, all of a sudden, oh, that's actually really cute. It's like, god damn it. Like, 3 minutes! 70 minutes! 3 minutes! Honestly.
It was a fantastic 3 minutes.
Yes, it was. But obviously the big one. The big explosion. We both wept a little bit because obviously this has done essentially what I've wanted to see for years, which is borderline a surprise regeneration.
Yes.
I thought, you've actually technically-ish done it, even though unofficially people knew what was going to happen, but officially we didn't. So it kind of, for me, it was a double-edged sword, where I was like, oh, I'm really taken up in this moment because I wasn't expecting to see him go, but it's also meant I haven't prepared myself to say goodbye because I like throughout the entire thing I was like, no, he's not, surely not, and oh, he does. So one of the other rumours that were floating around before we get to the blonde thing in the room was there was multiple versions of this ending. So one of them was more standard, he regenerates and we see a face. Or the other one, which is what I thought it was going to be, was that he was going to begin regenerating and we do not see the end. And then it cuts away to the credits and then it leaves the room open. Yeah. So essentially what it was in the script for The Power of the Doctor, because Chris Chibnall didn't know what on earth was going to happen. He thought the show might have been canned by that point. There's reason for that, Chris. So in the script, there's no reference to Tennant or anything. It's just regenerating, and then the story continues, cut to black.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was going to be that. It wasn't that. What happened, Dan?
Well, it turns out that, Ncuti Gatwa doesn't just regenerate in the TARDIS. He says, I don't want to do this alone, so he opens up to the wide array of space, regenerates in space, and honestly, to my complete and utter surprise, it turns out that Rose Tyler makes an appearance. I mean, like, it was literally that bloody episode where Catherine Tate makes her appearance and David Tennant goes, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
That was literally my reaction.
Yeah, here's the thing. Again, there was cheering. Like, people seemed actually quite happy to see her, even if I don't like it. Like, it's beyond the fact that usually with every incarnation of the Doctor, you're immediately like, not sure on that one.
Mm-hmm.
In the case with this this feels utterly desperate. Utterly. Though, the more I've thought about it... So, in the credits, she's not credited as the Doctor.
No, she's just... I think it's something like with the like guest appearance by Billie Piper or something like that. So, like, there's no cementing the fact that she's playing the Doctor.
Yeah. So, my immediate theory is she's not playing the Doctor. She's not playing the 16th Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
We're only getting her once. I think it's just going to be for one special or one episode, and then it's going to move on to the next one, as they should. My theory, based on the fact that the 15th Doctor basically opens the heart of the TARDIS. What happened the last time this sort of thing happened?
Yes, Rose looked into the heart of the TARDIS.
And became the Bad Wolf. So that's my thing. I think this is actually, like, the Bad Wolf. I think it's that.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, I feel even more sorry for Ncuti because he's sandwiched between Tennant and Piper as incarnations, which feels grossly unfair.
I don't know where it's going to go next. That's the thing. Like, you have no idea what to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, she's back. But, I mean, yeah, I instantly thought of the Heart of the TARDIS thing as well. And okay, well, that's an angle to go. I mean, I have looked at, like, other theories and stuff, and some of them are pretty wacky. Some are like, oh, actually, I kind of see that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Heart of the TARDIS theory definitely makes the most sense to me. I mean, the hell could be completely and utterly wrong by the time that whenever this season gets renewed, season 3 or whatever is getting called. It's series 15, so this will be 16 or season 3.
I think it would just be funny if they call it season 42, because it technically would be the 42nd season now of everything, just to take the piss even further. But
it's like, wow, that's a big jump.
I just don't get it. Like, it reeks of desperation.
Yes.
Like, especially because we've already done this with Tennant. It's one way to
surprise an audience.
Well, it is, but then if that's all we've got now.
But it's where do you go from here?
Yeah, because now what we've done is we've brought back an actor who's previously played the Doctor. Now we've done with Tennant. We've used a face that was a previous character and is now the Doctor twice, actually, with Peter Capaldi and Colin Baker. And now we've got a companion's face that's now being used. It's like, pick someone else. Like, I mean, I suppose we'll find out later. I mean, it sounds like I'm ragging on us. I mean, I still like the episode overall and I like the season overall, but there's just like those little things that just really got me annoyed. Actually, the other one as well, Susan.
Yes, it took me a while to click on at first because I thought, like, the grandfather thing, I thought, hold on a minute, I recognise that, and then it obviously clicked. Carol Ann Ford.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there was more to be done with her, considering the behind the scenes.
I feel like a lot of
talking.
Stuff is being cut.
Yeah,
from that.
Because when she's talking to when she's talking to the camera in Doctor Who Unleashed, her outfit looks very futuristic. I thought, we're gonna go with the 2150s, aren't we? We're gonna see the bit that, because honestly, when after Ncuti, throws all the regeneration energy into the TARDIS and then he wakes up on a field. Well, in a garden, I should say. I honestly thought that was going to be like Susan Foreman's house. I thought, are we going to see the thing that I've wanted to see? Whereas, like, if you're going to end that character, or even end the show, you have them meet again.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there's none of that. And it's like, you're lucky that Carol Ann Ford is still here, frankly.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a very wasted opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm glad that it's there, but it doesn't really do a whole lot.
No, not really. Like, especially
it doesn't bring anything new to the story. It's just, oh yeah, here's Carol Ann Ford in a cameo.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't we have that, like, 3 minutes that, like, Jodie Whittaker and Ncuti had? Why?
Mm-hmm.
In favour of, like, putting characters that have been so important into a box and don't do anything for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. It's just... Well, as we start to wrap things
all
up,
over the place, I think.
Yeah. As we sort of wrap things up, I think we'll talk about like our favorite and least favorite episodes. I mean, we have. I think we've already said like our favorites. So, I think both are the same. I think it was the well and the story in the engine. I think for both of us.
The well, the story in the engine, and I think runners up. I'm not sure because I thought every other one. I mean, the Interstellar Song Contest was kind of funny just for the fact that it's just Eurovision in space, more or less. But, you know, there's a conspiracy at play. I thought that was pretty neat, a very quirky idea. But, yeah, The Well is definitely the best episode of the season.
It's interesting you use the Interstellar Song Contest, because I'd happily say that is the worst one of the entire season, and it pissed me right off.
Oh, really?
Well, beyond the fact that it's Eurovision, and I hate Eurovision.
Yes,
so
I mean, I don't like anything
battle.
like that, and as soon as I sort of saw what it was going for, I was like, yeah, it's basically just sort of taking the piss out of Eurovision, and I dig it for that.
I think the politics at play as well, especially when it's Eurovision, and it's just doing, literally, even with the controversy surrounding Eurovision right now, it's just the space version of that. I was like, nah, you've lost me there.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too sort of out of depth for a child audience. I think if a kid was watching this, they're gonna have
now,
no idea.
Yeah, and especially right now with everything that's going on in the Middle East as well. I was like, no, come on, no, you don't do this now. But I think the worst thing for me was with the Doctor outright torturing the villain after he'd already beaten him.
Oh yeah, that was like
planning
that was
to
a different side.
Well, because it's like, I'm fine with the Doctor going dark, but I don't need that. And the fact there's no repercussions for it, and there's no exploration of that character
I must say
at all.
That did really irk me, because every time the Doctor's kind of gone a little bit AWOL, he's being confronted about it.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of forgotten about.
Mm-hmm. No, I really hated that. I thought, no, sorry. I mean, the only good thing to come out of that episode was Duggadoo. It's just the best thing in the entire season. Just is. Like I liked seeing Ncuti and Verada's reaction to it in the behind the scenes bit where because Duggadoo wasn't in the script and wasn't when they were filming, and it's all Murray Gould just deciding, yeah, I'm just going to do a funny thing. Let's just do that, and seeing their reaction, and especially Ncuti's when he realizes that it was Murray that did it, and he's like, oh, it's the best thing you've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I think given it's not an absolutely poor episode, but given what happens, I think it makes it the poorest episode of the series. It's like, well, he's literally torturing a guy, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, we'll just sweep it under the rug. This never happened.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't work like that at all.
Yeah, it really doesn't work like that. It's just been totally forgotten about. I think every other episode has been fine.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say that there's been one that has really annoyed me as much as season 1 has, bar Interstellar Song Contest for the ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every other one has been sort of quirky in their own ways.
Yeah, I mean, like, the season as a whole, I think, has been quite quirky. I've certainly enjoyed it, but it wasn't much of a talking point until things wrapped up. Which, to be honest, I'm kind of glad with, because I do, it does sound like I complain a lot, but it's just because I really, really love this show, and I could talk about it.
Well, yeah, because we grew up with it,
and
it's...
Yeah, exactly.
It comes from childhood, love from childhood.
Yeah.
And it's quite frustrating, if not quite painful, when there's a series that's just filled with such mediocrity.
Yeah. And, I mean, like, it's the same as when we were talking about the second season of The Last of Us previously. It's like, I see what some people say about this season, and honestly, it's just, you shouldn't even be allowed to have access to a microphone, frankly. You shouldn't even have any vocal cords. It's just, some of the crap is absolutely despicable, and it's like, it's why occasionally I don't enjoy talking about this level of fandom that much, because I know how awful it can be.
Oh,
and there's nothing wrong with disliking it at all, but it's
taken it to a whole other level when it becomes so toxic.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why we didn't cover season 1, because I was like, I've got nothing really interesting to say.
Yeah.
I was annoyed. It's just a bit sad. But like I said, it was definitely stronger than season 1, even if it sounds like I'm ragging on it now, but it's because there's just a lot in the finale to still process, which I don't think I ever will. But yeah, I'll be curious where things go going forward. We'll see. Hopefully, by the time this
I've just literally remembered
I don't know.
The Back to the Future wheelchair bit.
Oh yeah, good old Shirley. I love Shirley. She's so good.
I've just remembered that was Shirley. Like, it's been bugging me like for the last like hour. Like there was a scene like toward the end that just had me in bits. I'm like, what is it? Shirley's wheelchair.
Yeah,
the Back to the Future bit.
The thing, actually, they never show her speeding off, because I thought, wow, so actually the Disney budget
they just
was
have
gone on this bit.
The lines.
It's literally just like the flames.
Yeah,
it's like,
I hope Shirley's
like
okay.
Like, nah, she's gone now.
Like, good grief.
As you do. But yeah, there we go. I think that wraps up our thoughts on Doctor Who Season 2. Plenty to talk about. As I said, I wasn't expecting to do anything on this, but like I said, Russell just really loves us. He really does. Yeah. So thank you very much for listening. As we rant and ramble, I can see this. Is that Dan looking at the schedule, or is it me?
That's
I think
you.
It's actually just me. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Dan. It's you, Regan. It's not me. But yes, now, so like I said in the review for Last of Us Season 2, I did allude to the stuff we'll be doing in June. We'll be back very soon for our retrospective on Jurassic World.
Oh,
Yay. It's like, yeah. All right.
Gonna have to give that a rewatch at some point.
I mean, do you, though?
Well, yeah, because I haven't watched it in quite a long time, and I'm kind of missing key parts of it. I mean, am I the word? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I was about to say, for like a brief second, I thought it said you were missing it. I was like, dude.
Fired.
It is the best. It is the best turd in a pile of 3 turds. Jurassic turd.
It is the most distinguished turd amongst the other turds.
Yeah, you know, just like in the words of Jeff Goldblum from the original Jurassic Park, that is one big pile of shit. It counts for most of the sequels, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back to discuss a little bit of dinosaur action very, very soon. So we'll see you then. And until then, it is goodbye from Dan.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.